Went down another Wikipedia rabbit hole the other night looking up Skid Row, which is the homeless center in Los Angeles. See, I'm too careful. You just gotta go. The Skid Row. Why are there so many homeless people in Los Angeles? Because it's becoming a serious problem. I don't know if you guys have read the news. Oh my god. But I remember when I moved to Los Angeles back in 2013. I remember I hung around Hollywood a lot. Hung around Sunset Boulevard. I'd walked around there a lot between probably Cahuenga and, say, Fairfax, around that area. And I remember there were a lot of homeless people walking around. I mean, it wasn't that much, but, you know, you'd occasionally walk by a mattress. If you went to a 7-Eleven, there was usually a beggar outside. But what I did not see in 2013, particularly in Hollywood, I didn't see any tents. Oh my god. I did not see any tents. And now tents are just popping up all over Hollywood, all over Sunset Boulevard. And it's just getting worse and worse in Los Angeles. They just seem to be popping up more and more. Tents. So I was wondering, why is it this bad? And why don't police... Why doesn't the LAPD, like, do anything about it? Why do they just allow people to sleep on the ground and build all these tents? A lot of it is a result of the ACLU. Because in 2003, the police commissioner in Los Angeles wanted to clean up some of the homeless encampments in Skid Row. And the ACLU said, well, this isn't fair. You know, these poor people, they don't have enough money to go anywhere. They can't afford shelter. There's no homeless shelters that will take them. And you just want to arrest them for sleeping on the sidewalk, essentially. And the ACLU, you can look this up. It's called Jones versus Los Angeles. The ACLU proudly bragged about this in 2006 when they got the decision they wanted. They said, yeah, police can't criminalize people and punish people legally anymore for not being able to afford shelter. And so the city of Los Angeles reached an agreement with the ACLU, and they said, essentially, in Skid Row, that they'll just allow homeless people to sleep wherever they want on Skid Row, but I think between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. And that's why police don't really crack down on it. I don't know if they just started to allow this in Hollywood, too. Use the government to regulate home development so strongly that you cannot make new homes, then make it illegal to be homeless. Pragmatism at its finest. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's a big thing, is I think a big reason why it's so unaffordable to live in Los Angeles in Southern California, I think a lot of it actually has to do with just market forces. The fact that Los Angeles is still, despite the crappy politics and the environmentalism and the traffic, that it's still a cool place to live. I still love living in Los Angeles. It sucks that I have to pay an ungodly amount of taxes, and the politics certainly suck. A lot of things I don't like about it, but there are a lot of things I love about Los Angeles. But yes, as Trollface says, the government, the city and the state governments, regulate housing so much that it's so costly to build new housing. And as a result, the only new housing that ever gets built are luxury high-rise condos that only the very, very rich can afford. that only that they're usually bought up by rich foreigners. Which, by the way, I'm not against rich foreigners buying nice condos, but the fact of the matter is that's the only new housing getting built. You know, like I said, I moved to Los Angeles in 2013, and when I moved here with my cousin and my friend from college, and we were able to find a nice 3-bedroom. It was 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathrooms in North Hollywood for $2,100 a month. So that's $700 each way. Now that's still pretty pricey, relatively speaking. You're paying $700 a month to split a 3-bedroom. That's a lot of money. And that was in 2013. Now it's 2019, but I talked to my former roommate last year about it, and she said that she looked up that same unit we lived in, and she said, you know, that unit we lived in now goes for $3,000 a month. It used to go for... Oh, thank you. Thanks for sending the feather all the way over... Oh my god. Am I going the right way? Yes. There we go. So yes, the over 5 years, the 3-bedroom apartment that I used to live in increased by 50%. So about 12%, 12.5% a year. So after 10 years, it's going to go up by, you know, I assume in 2023, it's going to be over $4,000 a month. Meaning that over a 10-year span, the cost of living, the cost of housing in Los Angeles, or at least North Hollywood, doubled. I presume that's going to happen. If it keeps going the same way it has been. That's the way Los Angeles is. Everyone wants to live here, but no new housing is being built. And on top of that, you have, you know, taxes keep going up. People in Los Angeles and in California love voting up new taxes. And I remember both in 2016 and 2018, you know, everyone went to the polls because they had to defeat orange Cheeto Nazi Donald Trump. And both times there were a lot of taxes, new taxes, tax increases on the ballot. On the state level, county level, city level. And I think out of all the times, maybe like 2 or 3 of them didn't go through, surprisingly. I'm sure you guys have heard this. There was a bill or a proposal in 2018 that would prohibit the LA state or the California state legislature from increasing gas taxes without voter approval. And the voters just said, oh yeah, you can go ahead and increase our gas taxes whenever you want. Go ahead. Go nuts. And not surprisingly enough, gas taxes in California have went up. Anyway, so that's why homelessness is bad. Housing is unaffordable, becoming less affordable by the day in California, in Los Angeles. And the ACLU fought for people's rights to just sleep on the sidewalks back in 2006, 2007. Again, it's called ACLU versus, or Jones versus California. The ACLU, yeah, I like these. So housing's unaffordable, thanks largely in part to regulations and high taxes. Also market forces, I'll be honest. And also, it's illegal to for the police to arrest people for just sleeping on the sidewalk. And boom. If you let people build low-income housing, the rich will exploit them, says Josh Wiz. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We don't even want people to have... We would rather people be homeless than have the richers, those nasty richers, exploit them by renting out apartments and houses. Yeah, we don't want construction of new housing so that the greedy construction companies will sell it off or rent it out. Can't have that. Yeah, like I said, the new housing that's built, I used to live in Eagle Rock, in the Eagle Rock area, and there was a lot of new housing being built in that area. Oh my god. Ugh. And I remember looking it up because there were new condos being built over on San Fernando and Cypress, that area. And I remember looking up the prices just out of curiosity, and I think like the bottom price for those new units was like $750,000. So yeah, the lower and middle class are not buying those new constructed buildings. But the good news is if you can't afford housing, the police can't arrest you for pitching a tent on public property. These levels are such a pain in the ass today, I swear to God. Here I am trying to rant about the homeless, and I can't. I'm like, what is this? Okay, there we go.